Peace, love, and black power family. Welcome to another episode of Get This Wisdom Live. I am your co-host for the evening, Shakti Sterner. And when I tell you tonight's episode is something that I know it's definitely needed, but it's going to be powerful, family. I can say that from the depths of my spirit. We have somebody real special joining us tonight for our conversation. And as usual, you hear my little baby girl in the background. She gets the knowledge firsthand. Tonight, family, we have our brother, the giant slayer himself, Askari Ali, with us tonight, and he's going to give us the truth about what's going on in Chicago. We hear so many stories from the media, conflicting stories and stuff that just, in my opinion, can't be all the way true. So we're going straight to the source himself, Mr. Chirac himself, Askari Ali,
Hello?
tonight. Peace, brother.
Peace, family. It's your brother Askari Ali from Chicago, representing the tribe of Heru. Much love and, peace and power to my family out there. And I'm to give y'all a bar of what we deal with in everyday Chicago. Because, we hear so much about, the streets of Chicago being so bad and people trying to put, a city over other cities. And, it's really not like that because, all our cities in inner city America, which we deal with the most, police terrorism and the most crooked politics is fucked up. Not, we always talk about, what can we change and what can we do. We always need those active hands, and also we gotta also take control of the propaganda that they put out there. Because the tribe of Heru, we don't represent, the niggatry that goes on in the city, even though we in the streets every day, all day, every day, representing for the brothers, representing for the hood. And the problem is, Chicago is a government manufactured city. These guys are just running around, shooting. They took the structure off the street so we could kill each other.
Indeed, brother. So for our listeners and our viewers tonight, do you mind giving us sharing with us a little bit of your history? How did you come into consciousness and things of that nature?
Well, I came into consciousness around 2014, just chilling, watching Sarah Sunseti videos. And then, I take that back. I came into consciousness around 2007 when I went to prison. But I became into black nationalism, man. Banging on the beast and red, black, and green in 2014. So I was always conscious of what was going on. Never really follow religion and things like that. So it was like when I came into the movement in 2014, it was so much going on. It was very beautiful. It was so many young brothers getting woken up. I had a lot of brothers that I was on, basically in this journey with. A lot of brothers from like two brothers out of Memphis, my brother Kevin out of Minnesota. We all grew together in this movement. But eventually, the movement just started. I came in the movement fully with my heart. I came in the movement, giving my all, putting my all on the line for the people. And eventually, I had to see that, the things that, we as black people always face in the world where it's like haters and things like that. I had to face that, firsthand, the people that I once loved, for people that I used to once be ready to put it all on the line for.
Indeed, family. And going into, you giving your heart and soul for the movement and everything, we want to take a deeper look into your personal life coming up in Chicago. What were some of your experiences, and how did living and growing up in that environment affect your views on the world today?
One view that was affected was me being growing up in a single mother household. I always was looking for that male presence. So I jumped off the porch at 12 years old, gang banging on the west side of Chicago, all in the streets, jumped in head first. And my experiences was my mom worked long hours so she could provide for our household. She didn't have nobody else. She didn't have no help. And I was young, and I didn't, know no better. So my mom's always gone. My pops was never around. So, the streets was like my father, big homies in the streets. That's who I looked at as a father figure. Eventually we was just, we was living like, living wild, living crazy. Me and my brothers, doing a lot of hot shit, doing a lot of crazy things. Then they got to the point when I was 15 years old. No, I was 16 years old. Wait, 15. About 15 years old. I got so out of hand from my parents, they sent me to move to California. And when I stayed in California, I stayed there for about 7 years. Got in some trouble down there. Came back home. When I came back home, it was like a different Chicago. It was a Chicago of just wild shit going on. It was not the same. It was not structured. It was not, people didn't give a damn about what gangs you claim. Like, it was like ice lords killing ice lords, GDs was killing GDs. It was crazy. It was like, man, you come home to, there was some structure, man. So now you're like, damn, what the fuck just happened in these 7 years? So, also I knew the propaganda that they were using in the world, because, in the early 2000s, Chicago was doing 700, 800 murders. And in the 90s, they were doing up to 1,300 murders. But that's something they never talk about. But they'll tell you in Chirac today, and they doing 500 murders in this day. Well, this year, we on course to hit 800, but I don't think we will. Be 7-something. But that's still a high number of, casualties. But they don't never talk about it was worse as far as in the murdering in the 90s, 20 years ago. They'll never talk about the 1993, 94 Chicago, when they had to have a million-man march, and that million-man march brought a lot of unity as far as bringing the murders down in my city.
Indeed. So, can you speak further upon the gang climate in Chicago? You just spoke upon how during that 7-year span you had GDs killing GDs and so on and so forth. How is the gang climate present in Chicago then versus now?
The gang climate then was more structured. You couldn't be outside if you didn't know your literature.
Yes.
It was more like togetherness as a gang. Now, in 2017 in Chicago, we're looking at what you call cliquism. These brothers just joined the cliques. They got cliques now. Like, you could be a vice lord, your boy a GD, he a four-corner hustler, and y'all a clique. And y'all influenced with another clique of vice lord, GDs, and four-corner hustlers. So it got weird. It got real weird. As far as like when I was younger, and I used to see people, with more unity, people that was sticking more together, people that was going hard for the cause. So now it's like, it's just a fucking, everybody running around wild. Anybody, you don't got to answer to nobody. You can go shoot up a playground and you ain't got to answer to nobody. Back in, like, when I was coming off the porch and then, like, in the 90s, you shot up a playground, no gang to deal with your ass. Now, you don't got to do that. you would go kill a baby, and there'd be some goof ass niggas running around here talking about, yeah, bro, you a savage for that, man. We gonna get that nigga next time. No, that ain't the way to think. You know, these are babies in time. You know, anytime I hear about an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old or even these younger brothers, because I know a lot of the target age of the murders is going from like 16 to 22. So that's sad. You know, seeing these 16-year-old brothers dead, seeing them slumped over, seeing them laying out in the street. But it's a sick reality of what we deal with when you take the structure from the people and you let them run around wild. You close all the schools down. You send my baby to go to school with in a whole other territory. You send these young black kids to go to school in the Latin community, and the Latin community and the black community ain't really had a great place. You know, it be, you know, brothers be getting cool with them in jail, but like, as far as like our historical guidelines, Chicago's a very segregated city. Y'all can remember when Dr. King said this is the most racist place he ever been. He's been in Alabama, he's been in Mississippi, but it's like Chicago, Cicero. So that's always something to keep in mind. And it's the #1 segregated city in America. You know, you don't really have too many intermingling neighborhoods unless you get up north. The west side is segregated, the south side is segregated. And, you know, most of the parts of the north side, but, you know, we got brothers and sisters up there that's doing their thing.
Indeed. And you spoke to, you mentioned that in the 90s, it was like somewhere around 800 murders. And then before then, 1,000.
No, it was 1,300. It was 1,300 murders in the 90s.
Wow, that's crazy. So, yeah. So how truthful is the media being, you know, they're pushing this, I guess, this fear mongering tactic. Oh, Chicago had 400 murders this summer, blah, blah, blah. I'm paraphrasing the numbers there. But how realistic is the media being about the murders that are going on there?
Honestly, the media can't cover all the shooting and murders that go on. You know, it's people that get found in rivers like down the line. It's people, and every shooting that they always like classify. There's a lot of shootings that don't get documented. Like I've been on blocks when they'd be like, man, they was just shooting over there, but the whole block like, damn, they was shooting for real, and nobody called the police or nothing like that. So, you know, they document these things, and sometimes, and it's propaganda, because when they show you Chicago and the murders and people getting killed, they always put black people, put the black neighborhood. But, you know, we got Irish gangs, we got fucking Latin gangs, and they kill each other. That's the Latin kings and stuff, they get it in. But they would never put them on the news and be like, yeah, it happened in the Latin neighborhood. They always make sure it's the blacks. And I feel like it's a fear tactic, because he is a brother of the tribe of Heru. I'm a West Sider. You know, the West Side is a very big side of Chicago. We don't really go out south. There's brothers from the South Side that probably only been out west twice or something in their whole fucking life. The same with the West Side. So me, I never used to go out south at all until I linked up with Freeman and Yusef. And once I started going out there, it tripped me out that a lot of Southsiders got the same fear tactic as we. Because a lot of Westsiders like, oh, hell no, I ain't going out south. Them niggas crazy, they shooting. But then when I start kicking it and dwelling on the South Side, they feel the same exact way about the West Side. Oh, hell no, I ain't going out west. Y'all shoot too much out there. We like, what? It's a divide and conquer tactic. So they'll show you murder, 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 murder. At the end of the day, it's to keep people scared. First thing people say is, oh, I'm leaving Chicago. They kill too much. That's not really what.
That's right. That's right. And, you know, we understand gentrification and all that. So the first thing they want to do is clear out our people out of the hoods, quote unquote, and, you know, move the whites back in and take it back over. So that's one of the biggest tools of propaganda, is to get that area back to where they want it to be, as opposed to the true culture that exists. And I see that as a prominent thing being across the country, not just in Chicago. But since we are focused directly on Chicago during this episode, can you speak to the unemployment rates in the schools out there? What's going on?
worst school systems in America. Keep the kids uneducated. So, a lot of kids just like, fuck it, I don't want to go to school no more. It's always strike. They underpaying the teachers, but they got money to the Cubs stadium and all this bullshit. And then with what we dealing with as far as but what we deal with as far as unemployment, 55% of black men in Chicago is unemployed. You can't even find a job in Chicago. You got to go out on the outs. Unless you want to work that, CDL and things like that, that's a ticket for you out the neighborhood, but that's really an attack on it.
Indeed. So we hear about all the negativity, and all of the quote unquote bad stuff is going on out there. But what about the beauty that exists within the city and in the people in the city? Can you tell us about that, the loving that exists within Chicago that the people don't get to see? Peace, brother, are you there?
They don't show the positive images of Chicago loving people. They're not gonna show your people out there, fighting for the cause of our people, getting out there and doing, what's good and being service to the people. But they will always show you us taking from each other, us killing each other, us talking shit to each other. They don't even put our content. Like as far as Chance the Rapper and Vic Mensa, you don't really know too many conscious rappers out of Chicago. But all them drill artists, all them niggas talking about shoot a nigga up, kill a nigga, blast a nigga, slap his mama. But you don't never put nothing out, like the Lupe Fiascos and things like that. They act like these guys don't even exist no more.
Say that. I haven't been to Chicago in about 27 years, so I'm not even up to date on the true lifestyle out there, the true culture. Of course we hear things from our brothers and sisters, but we need that vivid picture painted for us. What is it, a typical 24-hour day in the neighborhood looking like for you? Describe that for us.
Excuse me, what you just
say? What is a typical day for you out there living in the hood? What does it look like? Paint that picture for us.
Shit. I couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
It's breaking up.
Oh, goodness.
Well, I might be breaking up.
Can you hear me now, brother? Forgive us, family. Our brother is down in Texas at the airport, so we got a treat right now. Trying to keep it clear on the connection aspect. Can you hear me, Askari? We just lost connection with him, so we're gonna try to get him back on. But what we were asking the brother was to describe a typical day for him living in the environment that he lives in, and what that may look like to the world, and how does he operate within the social constructs that have been implemented to the modern day society out there in Chi-Town. So we're gonna try to get him back really quickly. I hope he didn't have to jump on the plane, because as I said, he is in location in Dallas, Texas. He was doing on scene tactical training down there in Texas, and we wanted to get his thoughts on what's going on in Houston as well. So you hear the phone ringing. That's me giving the brother a call real quick and seeing if we can get him back before he jumps on the plane.
Hello, I apologize. I don't know what just happened, but what was the question you just asked?
Okay, yeah, I was asking you, what is a typical 24 hours out there looking for you? What do you do to navigate the social constructs out there in Chicago within the 24 hours?
24 hours for me, wake up, get the kids straight for school and things like that. It depends if I'm working or not. Like on a work day, go knock out some hours and simple things, be around the house. But like on the days that I'm not working or I'm currently unemployed, we kick it. I mean, Chicago, we like to hang out in our city. So, like, I go back to my old neighborhood, go on the block, kicking with my brothers, kick some knowledge. Y'all call me Sharif and shit from Minister Society. So, I love them brothers, and these people I came up with, thugging, doing all kind of, rude shit, kicking doors and shit like that. So, when I'm in the hood, I don't really have a problem in my hood. My problem comes up.
We lost connection again with the brother. You got to understand how the weather is down there in Texas and how that can disrupt communication. So we're going to try to get him back again before he has to jump on the plane. So 1 second, family, hold tight. Askari is one of those people in the community that speak his piece, and he doesn't, he's authentic within his true self. So it's always a joy to have his spirit and his energy grace our platform. So, yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we keep getting cut off here, so I'm assuming that has to do with, the weather that's going on amongst the country. It has started flooding up here in Detroit too. So hold tight, family. Okay, back to what you were saying though, brother.
Average day for me, but brothers be more scared of the police out here. I'm not. I've had too many standoffs with 15 different police. They don't really like my black ass. They hate me. They always looking for me when I'm not there. When people be on the block and shit, a lot of the brothers, that's what they know and that's what they gonna sit and do. And he tells me like, man, I often be coming around saying, what that crazy do with that? But I ain't crazy. I just don't take no shit because the shit they move us around, folks, they don't do that in the white neighborhood in Chicago. They put cameras and surveillance cameras in our neighborhood, but they don't got that shit up in the white neighborhood that's fucked up. Or, that's targeted for Latin and black people.
So how is the relationships out there between Latin and black people? Is it a lot of racism or what's going on with that?
I mean, gentrification made it that it's kind of proven because now blacks and Latins are sharing the same neighborhoods with each other. Because they gentrifying that Latin neighborhood, Humble Park. There's a lot of yuppies over there, little successful young white men. So they gentrify that area. So now they moving in with us. So you see a lot of brothers, chopping it up with them, but the relationship will always do some bad blood deep down. But, it's actually improving a lot, though.
Indeed. And you spoke to the school system being one of the worst in the country. Can you give us an estimate about how many schools are open out there?
I can't really give you an estimate of how many schools are open. But I can give you an estimate of they closed down 100 schools in 2 years out here.
Wow.
And 80% of them was in the black community, so that wakes you up.
Most definitely. So do you think that, given what's going on with the gentrification and, the general oppression of our people out there, what are some viable solutions that can be applied to shift that paradigm in Chi-Town?
Number one is getting involved in your neighborhood. I mean, you watch the Bible, I mean, the first thing we say is all this crazy, all this, but nobody wants to get involved. That's so these people you care. You know, people, and that comes from a lot of people being scared of the people. You can't be a freedom fighter and work for the people, and you scared of the people. You come to the hood and now you shaking like booty meat. You ain't supposed to be like that. These people love you. They just need somebody to give them the right direction.
Definitely. You know, we right next door. We neighbors. I'm in Detroit. You in Chicago, and from what I understand, there are a lot of similarities going on there, and there's also this separation that has been there for a while. This so-called beef that has been going on between Detroit and Chicago. Can you speak to the relevance of that and how true that is?
Detroit and Chicago, they it's not. I wouldn't say it's a beef because a lot of us don't really get into it, brothers from Detroit, but a lot of shit be, going down. Like back in the day, Trick had knocked the young bird out, and then you got.
This is my sister.
Now in today's day, you got the young rapper Snap Dogg and Rico Reckless. But one thing I like about the Rico Reckless case, he said you couldn't change this to a Detroit versus Chicago thing. This is versus you. So I don't really understand that little Detroit versus Chicago beef because I mean we 4 hours away. I'm not gonna go slide 4 hours to go try to kill nobody in Detroit, and I don't think none of these young brothers have the resources or the time to do that type of shit.
Indeed.
But that's something that's more big up by rappers and goofy ass cats.
More propaganda. So, what can we do to support what's going on in Chicago? We have our own oppression here, but with us being so close, it's kind of like, y'all need to come on together. It's only a 4-hour drive. What can we do to support the upliftment of the vibration in the city?
Detroit.
Yes.
I mean, we gotta just we gotta stand in solidarity with a lot of Midwest cities that we just know. Chicago and Gary, Indiana. I have family down there. It's 30 minutes away. But we don't really got no relationship with the Gary guys. Same with Milwaukee. That's an hour away. We don't really be going up there, locking in with the brothers like on a revolutionary circuit and doing things like that like we're supposed to be doing.
Indeed. Well, I see that might be changing in the near future given what's going on. And like I said before, we got the brother live right now. He's down in Dallas, actually, which seems to be pretty much unaffected by what's going on. But to switch gears just for a quick second, what are your views on what's taking place down there in Houston, given that you're so close?
It's really messed up. I say it firsthand today because this morning I missed my flight home. And the people from Houston, they canceled all their flights, so we was in the airport like a refugee camp. They had cots out, little blankets, like we were stuck. I was stuck because I was late, but they stuck because they ain't got nowhere to go. So they ended up giving those brothers and sisters, some hotel rooms out here, but it's real messed up. You got 40,000 evacuees of Houston coming up to Dallas right now.
Wow. That's crazy. I also heard that some people from Houston were actually going to Chicago and staying up there until the conditions got a little better. That is crazy.
That's cool too.
Yeah.
We accept our people with open hands. Just like with Katrina. There's a lot of places that New Orleans cats was going and popping up too. I remember in California, I was staying in California, they was coming. And as far as the struggle, we got it for our people that go through that. Because, we don't really get those kind of natural disasters in Chicago. What the most you're going to get is a snowstorm or a blizzard, get stuck somewhere, snowed in. But I never, we don't get tornadoes just based on, our skyscrapers. We don't get none of that. So, I feel for that in my heart. I've never seen nothing like that. I've seen floods, but I've never seen a whole expressway flooded like it's looking in Houston. When you look at Houston and people are standing on top of things, not trying to get swept out of water, it was an expressway right there, but now it looks like it's a river. You gotta wait till that water go down. Then you got some sickening pictures of, kids sleeping on counters and they hold up their front over filled with water. It's sickening. That hurts.
Yeah, definitely. We don't have, we get so caught up. I was speaking upon this earlier. We get so caught up in the materialistic point and all of this intellectualizing BS all the time. Us with supposed knowledge of self, that we forget what it's like to be a simple human being and going through a tragic situation. Because you got to understand, a lot of those people, they knew that the hurricane was coming, but they are oppressed just like the rest of us. So they didn't have the opportunity nor the financial resources to evacuate if that was a choice for them. So it's a lot of people out here bumping their gums about why didn't they just evacuate? They didn't have the opportunity to do so. A lot of us are living paycheck from paycheck, and the goal is to have at least $500 in expendable cash for situations like this. But shit, let's be honest with you. A lot of people can't even afford $500 in rent on their own. So we have to stop walking around with this ego on our back and this chips on our shoulders just because we have knowledge of self, like we better than the rest of our family. That ain't even what it is.
I speak on that all the time. I'd rather be around some of our people that's, considered good and unlearned before I be around some of these people that's supposed to be conscious and have knowledge of self, because they lose a sense of reality. They don't even talk to their people the same way. And that's not a disrespect to get to a whole bunch of bullshit.
Indeed. And
and there's some things about that, like, you're not better than nobody. But then at the end of the day, we all was lost one time. We all did some things that was considered cool at one time. So as far as this, just jumping in because, I got knowledge of self, but then what does that knowledge of self do? You teaching people, I'm an African, but at the end of the day, what does that really do in this day and age? We're not teaching no political education. And then you got a whole community of people that's, commenting of what our revolution was from people that was just not active in the revolution. They sat, and there's no talk, bad talk about my elders or the master teachers. But be real. Dr. Ben and John Henry Clark sat in classrooms and debated with white people all goddamn day. They were not out here like George Jackson. They were not out here like Huey P. Newton. So as far as us to quote them in what the forms of our revolution is, we got to break up all of that shit. Because we need all hands on deck. This is a physical fight. And it's a political fight. Once you get dealing with political education, all that, I'm an African, that's great. I love it, because it's good to know your heritage. You want your kids to know the greater of self. But at the end of the day, for me to keep on pushing that shit and everybody been listening to that stuff for 4 or 5 years, now it's getting to the point nobody wants to hear it anymore. Okay, we conscious, what the fuck we gonna do about it? Okay, we woke, what we gonna do about it? We just gonna keep talking and excuse the white man up. So now it gets to a point that the white man is the pussy man. You put the our problem is because the white man and it is what happened. The white man is the reason for Houston. That hard shit, man. That's what disaster been happening forever. So as far as him doing that and tapping into that, I believe he is. But you gotta look at Houston. fucking state. So you telling me that if George Bush is gonna flood his own state, that's some bullshit. You know, I understand that people love it and stick to it, but I can't get with that harp shit. We gotta understand natural disasters really happen. Now, if a fucking tornado come through Chicago, I'll say that's hard. Because them buildings make it so there's no real way that a tornado gust can even get created. But when people talk about it's a tornado in Oklahoma, Hawk did it, that's some bullshit. Oklahoma is a fucking tornado alley. So you telling me that the cracker in this, and then Oklahoma got so many pregnant white people, they be the ones that be getting killed. You be seeing white ladies all over the news, so Hawk did that, huh? Fuck out of here, man.
That's right. You know, I was definitely speaking to that earlier as well. And I don't really like bringing up the whole conspiracy theorist terminology because I understand why people question everything. I get that, but we have to have we have to have the art of our ancestral wisdom and the art of discernment to understand what's real and what could possibly be some bullshit. And right now, for all the people that's running around, oh, HARP created the hurricane. Shut up. Shut up for 5 seconds. How do you sound? Those people are really going through that, and that was really an act of nature. This was not a man-made situation, and some of the shit just don't make no sense at all. You know, you so focused on who created it, as opposed to really just being interested in the conditions of the people down there. We have to really step outside of what we think consciousness is and truly be conscious. And to be conscious is to be conscious of everything, including the love, the general compassion of human life. And right now, down there, human lives are at risk, and I think 2 or 3 people have already succumbed to the environment that is going on down there in Houston. So definitely thank you for speaking on that. And given that you're in Texas right now, you were doing tactical training on site, right? Can you tell us about that? Peace, brother. Can you hear me?
Give me 1 second. I'm about to... Hello?
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, we can hear you.
You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, peace, family. Now, you talking about the tactical training. First off, before I get into that, I want to give a shout out to Geronimo Tactical and Gorilla Mainframe for having me down here and showing me some of the things that I've never seen before and dealing with some of the machinery that I've never dealt with before. But tactical training, very important. These people
Peace, brother.
These people will tell us that we gotta read this. That we gotta read this book and do this, but they never want to bring up. You know, we gotta condition our bodies. We gotta train. We gotta teach these women and children how to protect themselves. If you're not gonna protect yourself, what the hell is you calling yourself?
Indeed. I agree. So how was that experience other than, you know, what all did y'all do? I saw the video on your page about I think y'all were running suicides or something like that. I don't know if I'm using the right term. I'm a queen. But it seemed like y'all was really getting it in. So what were some of the exercises that y'all did? And how can we apply that to ourselves now?
We did a lot of pull-ups. We did a lot of calisthenics. And we did a lot of running. We did grappling. We did things that, you know, dealing with that tire. So you can get your strength up. do relays, running up and down benches. It goes. It's a hard workout. You got to be dedicated. And one thing we was doing, we did it as a team. Nobody is above the team. If you come in last, we gonna wait on you. We cannot move till everybody moves. We got to do this as a unit. We support each other. We keep everybody else motivated.
Indeed.
Pistol training. When you go to a gun range, you see 90%, maybe 95% white people, and then you see black people. So when I look at the white people, I see kids, I see women, and I see men. But with us, we think it's cool just to, get on Facebook and talk about this imaginary crap as they say it. But what the fuck training are we doing? Are you really ready to go to war? A lot of motherfuckers can't even run a mile down the block, but they killing the crap at every goddamn time on Facebook. But that's not a solution to this problem because we're not even trained. Some motherfuckers, man, come work out with me. Hell no, I'm cool. But tell the motherfuckers, I got this motherfucker different Hennessy. Oh yeah, let's go. See, that's the problem. We rather party and bullshit than go the hard way about it.
That's right. That's right. So, are you in a position to where you're coming? You're like on a tour right now. You're going city to city, and implementing this amongst the people. What's going on with that?
We'll be starting a city-to-city tour for the people. And, we're not going to be charging nobody no $30 to come, watch us train and none of that shit. But, we want to take this self-defense across the USA. Means y'all stay and rock him for Gorilla Mainframe. We want to, influence people of a new revolutionary culture because we didn't get caught up in this culture nationalism. We just want to be black and we're dashikis and shit. But nobody want to fight. Nobody want to really go to war. And that's the thing that we got to always be on. It's war at all times. When they closing down our schools, that's warfare. When they putting us on the news and we looking crazy, that's warfare. When they sit and tell you that your baby is special ed because he can't sit straight, but that damn hyper ass white boy act like he off hella sugar, hey, that's warfare to keep you dumbed down. So one thing we do, we properly politically educate ourselves. We stay politically educated, and we stay grounded to knowing what this fight is. I don't want to, I read all the Dr. Ben books, but what we facing right now, I recommend all these brothers and sisters to read Blood in My Eyes or Soul Dad Brother by George Jackson. Or you can read Geronimo Pratt to see what these brothers went through for the people. And see what kind of fight we looking at. Because people just want to take the easy way out. It's easy to quote.
Peace, brother. Are you there? Again, we do have him on location.
We want to push a whole new revolutionary culture. We want to make it that when we training these kids and training these women, that it gets big, it becomes a fad, just like true religion and all that shit. We want kids to be like, man, hey man, I love what y'all doing, man. I want to come train out there because the revolution is in the youth. And that's the biggest problem that we're dealing with now. These old, and not even to talk about the elders, because I always say this, there's a difference between old niggas and elders. But these old ass niggas don't want to get out the way for these youth. They don't even want to open up the avenue. They just want to be the one that's in front of the camera and all that shit. And that's sad. That's sad as us as a human race, as black people on this earth, to be saying, to be doing that shit. You had your fight. Let these youngsters fight, because they gonna go a little bit longer than y'all. You know? And that's definitely for me, because I come from a family nothing but good Negroes.
So, you know, I've been observing you for a while, King, and I'm excited for the day I get to meet you in person. But I go back to when I first came across you on Facebook, and it was during the time of the whole Jason Ford situation. And going back then and until right now, you are still the same individual. You still have the same energy. What you see is what you get. So what inspires you, you know, to take this strong stance that you have on behalf of our people?
Because I know we're dealing with our people. We got so many different ideologies. We got so many people that, you know, actually poison to our people. So, you know, my thing is, you know, is to expose all the contradictions. You know, I'm gonna keep it cordial. You know, and I don't even like giving these weird ass cats like that organization we're part of. I mean, any publicity. But, you know, we got too many genetically modified organizations in the Black Power community. We got people that don't give a fuck about the people. They only care about themselves, only care about their ego. And people are so blind because in this conscious Black Power community, we're dealing with a lot of black people that just worship personalities. They don't gotta know Sister Shakti. They don't gotta know Brother Askari. They just love me because they see me on the video. I could be the biggest womanizer in anything in the world. That's why I influence people. Yeah, I know you love me, but get to know me in person. Get to know who I really am. Get to know the real Josh. You feel me? I use my government name, Joshua. Get to know who I am. Get to know who my mama birthed. Don't get to follow me because you seeing me checking somebody on Facebook. That's small shit. Get to know me and get to know the heart that I have. Get to know what I've been through. You know, because I've been through it all. You know, shootouts, you know, being jumped, you know, being left in situations where our people didn't even produce in that. So I got to go and give it my all. I got to give this movie my all. There's too many people that's playing with our people and playing with their energy. So I got to give it all I can. And that's just out of love for the people.
That's right. I respect you for that. You know, coming into this lifestyle, we have to be very conscious of who we're dealing with on a daily basis. You know, there are definitely a lot of good people out here doing the work every day on behalf of our people, but there are some that, you know, could use a little bit of work in that area. So I definitely, you know, thank you and appreciate what you do. So moving forward, you know, what do you see? What do you envision in the next, I say, 2 to 5 years to be going on with our people?
Honestly, with you know, the migration and the change, and I see that the people are getting tired of the same shit. In the next 2 to 5 years, I think that it will be a tribe of hate and a guerrilla mainframe in every city. You know, I feel like our people gonna be training. I feel like our people is gonna be politically educated to know what the hell they up against. Because we so culturally educated that we don't even want to be politically educated. And people think political education is about a Democrat and a Republican. That's the smallest shit ever when you're dealing with political education. It's way bigger than that. It's about whole governmental structures. And then you will realize that everything we deal with in this world is politics. Everything.
Yeah,
everything.
That's right.
The way we work out, as far as the little mainframe at the GMAP program, that's political. That's a political tactic of a workout. Make sure that no one falls behind. Make sure we gonna finish strong as a team. Slow down for your brother. We cannot leave our brother. And that's the situation that we got to get out, and get there. It's a black mind. And that's going to change something. Because the hottest revolution is going to come from the mind. It's not going to come from nobody screaming black power. It ain't going to come from nobody screaming kill the cracker. It's going to be a revolutionary mindset that sets in and makes you want to work out, and make people want to shoot guns accurately, and make people want to get the fuck from up under oppression. Because you can blame the 1%, you can blame your government for every problem you got. But, people get too carried away in this white man colorism, and they don't even act like that in real life. Nigga name is Ron Mayat Akhenaten on Facebook, and then he go back to work, and his name is Jonathan Smith, and the white man talking to you crazy every day. Motherfucker, grab that box. But you get on Facebook, kill the cracker. That's stupid. That's ignorant. We got to do better than that.
I agree. I call them Pattaya ramen noodles. They on Facebook all day. They intellectual as hell. They got the answer for everything, but then they going back to punch that clock for the white man. So,
and letting that white man talk to him any kind of way.
Indeed, all for that dollar. So we definitely
get right on Facebook and call me and you goons and all that shit, because we don't agree with what they do. But I know what's not conducive to the movement.
That's right.
This is a people fight. And nobody that came before us, not Colin Muhammad, not George Jackson, not Huey P. Newton, people that put their all on this, ever came and totally assaulted the other race of oppressed people. People like get their whole mind of it. Is this a fight against oppression? It's a fight for personal use. You just don't get no fuck. You gotta ask people that, because Colin Muhammad, he never talked bad about, the red and brown people. We know what oppression is. They oppress people. But in this day, you got motherfuckers talking about, we don't that know, ain't no nothing. The red and brown and this and that. And I'm like, man, dog, it's some motherfucking federal agent putting that information out there. Because you're doing the 1% job. The 1% job is to keep all oppressed people divided. Keep the 99% of the people here divided and at odds with each other and ready to kill each other. That's what they do. So when you get to preaching that shit,
You breaking up, brother. Again, we got Askari live on the scene down there in Dallas, so forgive the connection a little bit. The brother's going in right now, and we got much love for him. So I'm gonna chop it up a little bit while we waiting on a connection to work itself on out.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm gonna still be here, family. I'm gonna have to mute my phone right quick. All that shit, I'm back on the line.
All right. So you heard it there first. The brother's actually at the airport right now, getting ready to load it on up from down there in the Lone Star State, Texas, and head back up to Chi-Town and implement some of the things he experienced down there in Dallas, up there in Chicago. What the brother's speaking about is definitely real. Okay. I love my people, as I'm sure who all is tuning in love the people also. And knowledge is first. Knowledge is the foundation of all things in existence. Yet we seek so much information and not enough transformation. Yes, beautiful.
I'm gonna give you
A hug. Thank you.
a hug.
As you all know, this is a family show. My babies are with me all the time. They pick
Yeah.
up the knowledge first. I let them hear it raw and
Good night,
uncut.
Mommy.
Good night, beautiful.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yes, I'm sleeping downstairs with Granny and Papa.
Okay, Queen.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I talk to you in the morning.
I'll talk to you in the morning, beautiful.
Yes, I talk to you too.
See, this is real for me, family. This lifestyle, this culture, sacrificing it all for the betterment of our babies is real for me. 9 times out of 10, with a lot, with I won't say a lot because that's a generalization, but with some of the people in this movement, you never hear them with their babies, you never see them with their babies, you never see them or hear them with their family. So you got to question, how much are you for the liberation of black people, original people, and you ain't even with your family? You know, always look to the family first of an individual, and you can see the intentions and the motives from there. So you just got to hear firsthand my interactions with my young queens on a daily basis. And the brother we're speaking upon, you know people can quote all day, people have read all the books there is out there, but what are you doing to be personable and relatable to your people? What are you doing that will actually shift the environment that you live in? What are you doing other than raising your black fist and putting on that dashiki and that unk? It's work. The revolution starts within the house. It starts within your neighborhood. It starts within your communities. It's bigger than, and we just lost connection with the brother. That's fine because he's traveling, and if he calls back in, great. If he doesn't, much love and respect to Askari for all the work that he is doing nationwide, as you can hear. But this thing is bigger than social media. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, all that jazz, Twitter, will have you thinking that the work isn't being done. The real work is outside of Facebook, family. It's outside of Facebook, and it's happening continuously. And there are so many people out here that are actually doing the work necessary to make that change, that transformation directly in our communities. And I want to take this time, to actually shout out some of those people and thank them live on air. Again, shout out to Askari Ali out there in Chicago doing his thing the way he does it. Everybody doesn't operate the same. Everybody doesn't move the same. But long as the work justifies the means, then it's all good in my book. So shout out to Knowledge Born of Law, who do the Knowledge Radio. That brother is one of the busiest, one of the most hardworking kings I've had the honor to come across doing this line of work. Also, shout out to Keith Horton, my brother here in Detroit, Revolutionary Mind Cinema. He just had a loss, so to speak, in his family. His master teacher just transitioned. So if you can, on my behalf, show the brother some love and support in that endeavor. Taji Darul Islam, another powerful brother who creates solar energy panels, who's making that shift into clean energy on behalf of our people. Who else? Shout out to Baba Amin and Supreme Rock Africa down there in Texas, Lone Star RBG. They do a lot of work continuously in the community. People support the endeavors they have going on. Dwayne Jordan of the Black Power Awards. That's another powerful individual. We got some good sisters out here too doing their thing. Shout out to Monica Wright down in Philadelphia. She's getting busy putting stuff together. Actually, a real estate investment team was just given an LLC that sister headed up, and I'm honored to be a part of that. And we're actually getting ready to transition into buying 12 properties down there in Philly. So we're looking to get them properties together and saving some families from the streets. It's so many people I could thank right now, but I'll be thanking people all night. The point of this is, family, don't get so caught up in social media and the negativity that you see that you don't think that the work is being done and the sacrifices are not being made, because once you truly commit yourselves to your life purpose, and that would be the liberation of our people, you do everything in accordance to that purpose. So a lot of people aren't getting any type of quote unquote financial support with what they're doing. You know, a lot of people are struggling and they're still sacrificing it all. So we gotta get to that space of acknowledging one another and their works, and also supporting in any way that we can, because let's just face it, our people are oppressed nationwide and globally. So you know, we're not expecting you to come out your pocket with $1,000 or even 500 or even 100 at that point. You know, sharing a post on social media, that's support. Giving a phone call or a inbox or a text message to your people saying, you know what, I appreciate what you do, don't give up, that's support. Because it gets tiring sometimes, family. I have to be honest with you, and I speak on behalf of a lot of us right now. When we give ourselves continuously to our people, our babies, and the betterment of the future, it gets a little tiresome sometimes, family, because we have to rise above all the negativity that's out there. And we're humans, right? We're humans going through this spiritual transition, but we have human emotions, and it gets to the point where you like, damn it, is it worth it? And then you know, you get that out of the blue inbox, or that out of the blue text message, or that out of the blue phone call saying, you know what, sister or brother, keep doing what you're doing. We see it and we love it and it's needed. Thank you. That makes it worth it, family. Trust me, I tell you. There are days when I'm over here with my babies, like, what the hell, yo? I'm tired. I got two babies, raising them by myself, trying to fight on every level of oppression. And it gets to the point where, you know what, I want to go back to sleep like the rest of my brothers and sisters. I want to be blissfully ignorant, you know, but then I look at them babies and I remember what it's all about. I look at y'all faces. I listen to your voices, and I remember why I signed up in the first place. And we that are frontlining in whatever field, because frontlining don't just stick to one area of work. Frontlining is on many different levels. But for those that are frontlining, we understand the risk that we are taking. We understand it, but we know we'll take them risks all day if it means that one more black baby ain't got to go to bed hungry, that one more black child ain't getting shot by a racist ass police officer, that another brother ain't being gunned down in the street, that another sister ain't being raped. We understand very well the risk that we are taking, and we'll do it a million times over to know that that one little boy and girl is smiling now. They ain't crying no more. So we don't give up and we don't surrender. We just need for our people that may not be in a position to, or may not play that role. Their role might be more behind the scenes, or they might, whatever your role is. We love you. And sometimes we need that encouragement, you know, from our brothers and sisters, that is worth it. So again, the brother Askari is down at the airport in Dallas, and we definitely appreciating him coming on the platform tonight and sharing his personal views on a lot of things, the truth about Chicago and what's going on there, and just the truth, period. You know, we intellectualize so much that we forget to be black, that we forget that we was in the hood, that we still in the hood, that we forget to be a goddamn human being. Forgive me, young queen, for cussing in front of you, baby. It's real in the field, family. And if you don't see the constant reminders of what you got to fight for, then I seriously think you need to go sit down and reevaluate your priorities and think upon the many sacrifices that our ancestors made for us to continue on today. And look at those children around you and think, do you want them to continue on living the same life of hell that you had to live all these years? Put the babies first. Put the elders first. Put your brothers and your sisters first and get to work. I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. Please tune in tomorrow night when we have our brother, the Black Power Award nominated Shakim out in South Carolina, who's been a part of a little bit of controversy as of lately, you know, taking the pictures with the white nationalists and all that. He's going to come on the platform tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to speak upon why was our damn brother in pictures with some damn white nationalists. A lot of us are confused and we want to know what's up. So he's coming on tomorrow to talk about that. And until next time, family, I love you so much. I appreciate you so much, and I need you. There is no me without you. Peace, love, and Black power.